Good evening, my YouTube fam. Hope everyone's doing well. Been wanting to get this video out for a little bit, and it's one of those videos that kind of takes me all over the place, and before you know it, it's like it has the wrong tone to it, and yada yada yada. I don't script my videos. That is, I'm not like reading notes or anything. My videos, I like to make them just kind of ad lib, shoot from the hip, just what my thoughts and feelings are. And so this video is about dispatch. A lot of people got into dispatch here recently, and it makes perfect sense. You know, with the pandemic, being able to work from home, let's face it, it's a great work from home line of work. And for those that are good at it and have a good client base, it can be lucrative. And so, with that being said, I think that a lot of prospective dispatchers coming into it are being somewhat misled, and then they get pretty upset and aggressive towards people in the group because they're trying to charge a rate that's kind of unrealistic. And it's not to say that some people don't get the rate, but it's like anything else in any market. You know, what you provide is only worth what someone's willing to pay. And so, perfect example, you know, when oil field was booming and they couldn't get enough trucks, my trucks were doing $25,000 a week a piece. And I know right now some of you are laughing, saying, yeah, sure, right. Literally, I'd have $900 loads, and you could see the rig from where you were loading up the water they needed. Literally, it's right there. It's taking you longer to load and unload than it's taking for you to drive to and from. But this is what happens when there's a shortage of trucks and the market fluctuates. And there's no shortage of dispatchers, guys. And so what someone is willing to pay for any given service is highly dependent on, you know, supply and demand and where the market is. And right now, rates are decent, and anyone with a cell phone can book loads. Uber comes to mind, and you can find loads that in some cases are priced better than what you find on DAT. And using their app, you can book the load, activate the load, go pick it up, go drop it off, take a picture of the BOL after it's signed, send it, and literally the following Tuesday or Thursday, whichever comes first. So if you deliver on a Wednesday, Thursday you will get paid. Literally that fast. So no need to factor, no need to invoice, no need to anything. And some people say, oh, Uber rates are horrible. I've gotten some outstanding rates through that load board, through the application. And so with that being said, you know, it makes it harder for someone to say, I'm going to pay 10% for a dispatch service. And that's just the nature of it. It's nothing against a good dispatcher. It's plain and simple business. You wouldn't pay the price of a Mercedes if you needed a work truck, right? I need a work truck so I can buy myself a used half-ton for $5,000. Why would I pay the price of a new Mercedes when I don't need a new Mercedes? And so, very simple. But I think what's happening more than anything to new prospective dispatchers is you're coming in after being trained or mentored by someone else. And just my own observation, and I'm not trying to accuse anybody, I'm not singling anyone out, but on some of these load boards, on some of these groups in Facebook, every time someone says, hey, I'm looking to get into dispatch, where do I start? There's like 50 people that'll reply with links to their page, flyers, whatever it may be. You'll have 50 people responding. And then another 50 people putting down, I DM'd you, check your inbox. And so the funny thing is, out of curiosity, I've looked at some of these people, and this is the nature of the whole video, okay? So I've looked at some of these people. Hey, I'm the dispatch doctor. Hey, I'm the trucking industry guru. Whatever it may be. And again, if that happens to be someone's name, I just made them up. But, whatever it may be. So, I click on, like, the person's profile, like their picture, right? If you click on it, it kind of like opens up another page, and then it shows you like everything they've posted in the group. And the funny thing is, if you start scrolling backwards through their posts, you see like for the last 90 days or so, they've been posting the same exact thing. Experienced dispatcher offering, training, how to start your dispatch business, or whatever it may be. Come join our Zoom meeting, limited space available. They always make it seem like it's the last one. And if you ever saw that one commercial where a guy's on TV and it says, while supplies last, call now, and the person calls and some dude answers in a warehouse. Yeah, I think I still have some in stock, and in the background there's like rows and rows and rows and rows of pallets of it. Same thing. Anyway, and so scroll further down this person's, posts, and so for like the last 90 days, it's been experienced dispatcher offering, how to start your dispatch service classes. And then like last October, they're posting, why don't carriers want to work? Why can't I get any customers? Where can I find carriers? And then you scroll past that, and like last June, they're posting, I'm looking to get into dispatch. Basically, last June, they were in the same place you're in now. And now that you're going to pay them whatever, $100, $200, $500, I don't know what it is, but you're going to pay them for a class they're giving you, and they just got into this last year. And the way I read this, guys, the person couldn't make money dispatching, and so now they're making money off you, selling you this packet on how to be a dispatcher. It's my opinion. And, I'm not accusing anyone, and so if there's 500 people in this group that are training dispatchers or mentors or whatever, I'm sure some of them are actually quite good. I'm sure. And I'm sure some of them are not only good dispatchers, they are good trainers on top of that. I'm sure. But you have to really look into the concept or the idea that if this person's going to tell you you can dispatch 10 trucks and make $10,000 a piece, the truck will, and you're going to charge 10%, so they're basically telling you you can make $10,000 a week. If the person was making $10,000 a week, why are they bothering training you? I think they'd be too busy making their $10,000 a week. If they were that good a dispatcher, why are they wasting their time putting on these classes? They're making a better living putting on the classes than they did dispatching. And again, I'm not saying all of them, and so you don't need to go show this to your friend that trained you and say, look at what this jerk's saying about you. I'm not saying any particular person, and I'm sure there are some really good, talented dispatchers out there, and I'm sure there are some that are really good trainers. All I'm saying is do a little research on who you're going to give your hard-earned money to, because you're expecting a return. You're expecting to make money staying home where you can be close to the family and you'll make enough money to help support the family and maybe even take you to a new level of financial independence that you've never had before. And if that happens for you, honestly, I'm happy for you. Great. But I'm more worried about those of you that are being kind of swindled by a hustler that's a has-been that never was, okay? That for lack of putting it a better way. And so if you're gonna buy into one of these packets and you're gonna believe in this individual's, their program, research a little bit. Look at their posts they've put in that group. Scroll through it. Were they posting 6-7 months ago that they want to get into the business and now they're selling you a how-to? This happens on YouTube a lot. I've noticed how, hey, look at me, I just got into box trucks, and then like literally 3 videos later, it's cash at me some money and I'll send you a how to start your business. Okay? Really? Because I've been in the trucking industry for decades now, and I don't consider that I would try and be someone's, I guess I could mentor someone, but I don't know. It just seems to me like if I'm going to hire someone, whether it's a dispatcher or a mentor or something, they need to have more experience than me. And so if I suddenly decided I wanted to open up a dispatch company, I used to dispatch my own trucks. It's not that difficult. Some people are better at it than others. And I'm not beating up on dispatchers. I have a dispatch service that I use. And I'm very happy with them. So you don't need to post in the comments, hey, if you need a dispatch, hit me up. I have no short-term plans on leaving. Long-term, it's hard to say because you never know. Things can change. Their philosophy could change. My philosophy could change. Or our end goals. If I decide I want to put trucks back in the oil field, I may not need them anymore. And so that aside, I have a good dispatch company. They take good care of me. They do a good job. Gabriel over there is, for lack of a better word, awesome. And I plan on putting more trucks to work with them. And so I'm not trying to beat up on dispatchers or what you guys are trying to do or anything like that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to get into this, try and get a little background on the people that are selling you this whole packet to be a dispatcher, so that when you start trying to approach carriers like me, you're coming at us with a good, presentation. I get a lot of messages and I'm being hit up quite a bit. Do you want a dispatcher? Can you use a dispatch service? And it's funny because their presentation is almost always the same. It's like, did the same person train all of you? None of you have something probative to say that's unique, that's different. And in the end, when they tell me what their rates are, I'm like, for that kind of money, I can start my own dispatch service. And I'm not trying to be mean, but when I had an army of trucks running in the oil field, I didn't pay for a tire service to go and fix flats. I set up a tire buster truck. I didn't send my trucks to shops to get worked on. I started my own shop. I had 3 dispatchers that rotated shifts. I had someone in that office 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays. And so companies like to cover their own by doing it cheaper in-house. And, for the kind of money some people are asking for, especially when they're green, that's the worst thing. When you're super, super green, you can't expect someone like me to pay 10%. It's an insane amount of money for someone that doesn't know what they're doing. You have to learn this business a little bit. Anyway, but more so than that, everyone starts somewhere and everyone's got to build, and everyone's trying to climb the ladder. My biggest point here is, if you're going to pay someone to get introduced to this business, make sure the person knows something. If the person went from, according to them, billing 10% per truck, and they had trucks running, and now all of a sudden their primary business is training and mentoring people, you gotta legitimately ask yourself, what happened with dispatch? Why are you not dispatching? And if someone says they were good, have them show you some reports. Have them show you some invoices that they sent out. Now, granted, I could make a fake invoice and make it look like I've done good, but there should be a trail of evidence that they did well at one point. They should be able to show you that, they had a decent client base. And look at that before you go and spend your hard-earned money. Because let's face it, if you're going to spend money to get trained as a dispatcher, you're going to expect to start working sooner or later. And when you go back to those groups, you can see people constantly posting, why is it so hard to get a carrier? Why can't, a carrier just give me work? Why don't people want to work? And it's like that, not that people don't want to work, it's we expect to make X amount of money. And so when you say I'm going to charge you 10%, and I can go book $3.25 a mile on my own on an application, and you're basically going to book the same load, there's no need for you. You need to bring something better, and I don't mean just 10% more, because you're actually costing me money by doing that, because I pay my driver a percentage, and I pay an insurance policy that's based on gross sales. And so if you're going to charge me 10%, but you only got me 10% more than what was on the load board, you're costing me money. That's a given. And if you understood the business, you would know this to be true. So it makes no sense for me to pay you 10% unless you're getting me 30% more. That's what it is. And so be aware that your mentors are probably not going to tell you this. And this is the struggle that a lot of dispatchers have, getting carriers to give them work. Why won't the carrier just give me work? Well, this is kind of why. If a load is on a load board for $3,000 and you go and get me $330, you're costing me $100. I could have done it myself and it wouldn't have cost me money. And you're asking yourself, what are you talking about? So on a $3,000 load, if you get me $3,300, but you're going to charge me that 10% back, what you've done is you raised my payroll liability, because I'm paying my driver a percentage. And so when I pay that driver, his 30%, now it's not 30% of 3,000, it's 30% of 3,300. But I didn't really get more because the dispatch service took that 10%. So what did I get? What did I gain? More liability, an additional $100 in payroll, and then, I still, based on payroll numbers, have to pay workman's comp, unemployment benefits, Social Security, And so that $100 isn't really $100. It's more like $113. And then I have to pay higher insurance. My liability policies are, they come based two ways: gross sales or payroll. And you just raised both of them. So if you're going to charge me 10% and you're only going to get me 10% more in revenue, you're costing me money. It makes no sense for me to do that. And you're saying, well, but we negotiate the rate didn't come out to my benefit. If you say, well, we set up the carrier packet and everything else, I've got a carrier packet in my cell phone. I can just attach it and send it. It's really not that difficult. You need to bring more to the table. And if someone charged you to teach you this is all you need to do, they kind of ripped you off, because there's more to the puzzle than just that. And if you're trying to charge 10% and you're green, it makes it harder, because you're going to try and send my trucks to places that don't make sense in terms of a rate. And so the reality is you're going to have to start off at a lower rate. Look at some of the flyers that other people put up when they're advertising their dispatch company, and you'll see that a lot of them are not charging 10%. And these are usually now experienced people. And why do I say they're experienced? Because it took them time to realize 10% is unreasonable. And okay, I'll change the word. Let's just say 10% isn't unreasonable, but 10% isn't a selling point. 10% isn't, it's not the blue light special that we want. Let's just put it that way. We want a deal. Otherwise, we do it ourselves. Anyway, I'll review this video and make sure I didn't make it too mouthy or wordy. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.